I'm going to spend the next few minutes walking through the Tenveo 4K PTZ camera bundle so you can decide whether it's worth putting on your setup or if it's just a pricey collection of gadgets you'll never really use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're looking at a kit like this, the biggest hesitation is usually, will it actually simplify my workflow, or will it add another layer of tech I have to manage? That's the question I tried to answer by digging into how each piece fits together in a real-world production. First off, let's talk about what you actually get. The bundle includes 4 VL12U 4K PTZ cameras, each with a 12x optical zoom and AI-driven auto-framing, a 7-inch quad-screen joystick controller, KB300 PRO, a 4-port 4K HDMI SDI video switcher, PC500, and an 8-port PoE Power over Ethernet switch. In theory, it's a one-stop shop for a small studio, a church sanctuary, or a classroom that needs multiple angles without hiring a crew. If you've ever tried to rig a multi-camera live stream with separate camcorders, HDMI splitters, and a bunch of cables, you know the pain of keeping everything synchronized. The PoE switch is the quiet hero here. It powers each camera over a single Ethernet cable, eliminating the need for separate power adapters. That alone cuts down on clutter on the ceiling or on a rolling cart. In a typical church setup I've seen, 4 cameras mounted on the balcony, each feeding a live stream to the sanctuary, can be powered and controlled from one rack without ever pulling a power cord from the wall. Ease of use is where the joystick controller really shines. The 7-inch screen shows a live preview of all 4 cameras at once, and you can pan, tilt, and zoom any of them with a single thumb movement. The AI auto-framing works decently for simple subjects. It can lock onto a speaker and keep them centered even as they move across the stage. I tested it with a presenter walking from left to right, and the camera kept the head in the Ruly-Oftherds frame without any manual tweaking. For someone who isn't comfortable digging into menus, that level of automation is a huge confidence boost. However, the system isn't completely hands-off. The menu hierarchy on the cameras is a bit deep. You have to scroll through several pages to adjust things like white balance or exposure compensation. If you're used to a single button that toggles a setting, you'll find yourself pausing to read the on-screen help a few times. That learning curve is something to consider if you plan to hand the rig over to a volunteer crew who only has a few minutes of training. Low-light performance is another practical point. The VL12U sensors are decent for indoor lighting, but they're not a full-frame sensor, and the 12 optical zoom can introduce noise when you push the aperture into the lower light range. In a dimly lit conference hall, the image stayed usable at 1080p, but you could see a soft grain at full 4K resolution. If your productions regularly happen in very dark venues, you might need to supplement with additional lighting or look for a PTZ with a larger sensor. Stabilization is handled entirely by the PTZ mechanics. There's no in-camera gimbal. Because the cameras are mounted on a fixed rig or ceiling, that isn't a problem for static shots. But if you ever need to move a camera on a dolly or a handheld rig, you'll notice a slight wobble during rapid pans. The AI smoothing algorithm helps a bit, but it can't replace true optical stabilization. One thing the bundle does well is keep you within a single ecosystem. All 4 cameras, the joystick, and the switcher speak NDI over the network, so you can route video directly into OBS, vMix, or any NDI-compatible streaming software without needing capture cards. In practice, I set up the PC500 switcher to output a single 4K HDMI feed to my streaming PC, and the OBS preview showed a seamless transition between cameras with 0 latency. That's a huge time saver compared to juggling multiple HDMI capture devices. Battery confidence is not a selling point here because the cameras rely on PoE. That means you're tethered to power, which is fine for fixed installations but eliminates any possibility of truly portable use. If you were hoping to run a quick outdoor interview with a battery-operated PTZ, you'll be disappointed. The upside is that you never have to worry about dead batteries in the middle of a broadcast. Who should consider buying this bundle? Small to medium productions that need multiple angles but don't have a full crew. Think churches that stream services, schools that record lectures, or community theaters that want to stream performances. The all-in-one nature means you can set up a multi-camera studio in a single day, and the AI auto-framing reduces the need for a dedicated camera operator. It also appeals to hobbyists who are stepping up from a single webcam to a more professional multi-camera workflow and want everything to work together out of the box. Who should skip it? Solo streamers, vloggers, or anyone.